a seventh and deciding game in the American League Championship Series.
The Toronto Blue Jays are now a win away from their first World Series appearance in 32 years. Good evening. It has all come down to this one game to decide who will represent the American League in this year's World Series. The Jays have come back from a 2-0 deficit in the ALCS, and tonight is Game 7.
Michelle, Game 7, the two greatest words in sports. We're inside Rogers Centre right now, and you can already feel the excitement, the buzz in the air. Many fans are already showing up inside here, and a few hours ago, I was arriving, and there were fans standing in line. You can't blame them. Tonight, they have a chance to move on to the World Series. This team has not done that since 1993. And a little bit earlier, we heard from some of the Blue Jay players and also the manager, and the message was pretty much the same. For tonight, it is all hands on deck. Sean Leathong spoke to some of the players and also heard from the manager. Here's more.
Well, Nathan, they've been the comeback kids all season. In order to do that, you've got to complete the comeback tonight, Game 7 of the ALCS. An unbelievable time to be a Blue Jays fan. The expectations for this team may not have been as high as where we are right now, but we are in it. Now, earlier today, the Blue Jays took the field, warming up, and I'll tell you who's not nervous, the Blue Jays players. They look calm, cool, and collected as they took batting practice today. Some good news, Bo Bichette taking batting practice as well. But from there, let's talk about what happened last night. They had to win Game 6 to get here. It was Addison Barger in the bottom of the second inning last night with a single that led off the scoring for the Blue Jays, cashing in Dalton Varsho after he reached second. And then just an inning later, Addison Barger again going yard, a 2-run shot, putting up the Blue Jays 4-0. And that would be all they would need. But of course, they got a little something from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a solo shot, his 6th home run of the postseason that actually ties him for the club lead in postseason history. It ties him with Joe Carter and Jose Bautista. Some great company there. Let's talk about the pitching from Trey Savage last night. 5 2/3 innings. This 22-year-old, since coming up in September 14th, has been fantastic. Now they will hand the ball to Shane Bieber, who got the job done in Game 3. We focus on Game 7. John Schneider talking about the beauty of Game 7 and what it means to these players. So did George Springer, someone who has played in a World Series Game 7, a game he won in a series he was an MVP. Here's what they had to say.
This is what you play for as a player. This is what you want. You know, I don't think there's anybody across the league that if you said in spring training, hey, you're going to be in Game 7 of the ALCS, that you're going to say, oh man, no. I think everyone's excited, so I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, that's the beauty and the angst of Game 7. You're looking for any opportunity really, and you have to be ready for everyone they're going to throw, like they do for us. So you're trying to capitalize as much as you can in any situation that you get some traffic or any situation you can put a good swing on a mistake. So again, I think that trying not to manage based on what they're doing, trying to stay present in the moment with what we need to do. I know pitching gets a lot of the attention in games like this. We need to score. We need to be who we are offensively and hopefully set the tone to where we can do what we want pitching-wise.
Now, the Jays have scored when they're winning in this series. Now, Seattle has taken the field. They'll be having batting practice in just a few minutes. A little bit of history now. If you've wondered if an ALCS Game 7 has ever been played in Toronto, yes, October 16th, 1985. The Toronto Blue Jays losing to the Kansas City Royals. The Royals would go on to win the World Series that year. The Blue Jays, unfortunately, had a 3-1 lead in that series, and it was the Royals who came back to win. This has been different. This year has been all about the comeback for the Toronto Blue Jays, and if they are to win tonight, that would cap the greatest comeback of this season for them. We will find out in just about 2 hours' time. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. I'll send it back to Nathan.
Thank you, Sean. I remember back in '85 when the Jays won, how exciting that was, and fans are on their way. You might remember back in '92 when Dave Winfield was urging the fans to make noise. Well, things are different now. The fans are noisy. They've got a reputation at Rogers Centre or Rogers Stadium as being some of the loudest fans in all of baseball. And Radhim Ladhani is outside interacting with those fans. I know they're hyped and I know they're excited. Radhim.
Hey, Nathan, yeah, they certainly are. You know, the energy here outside the ballpark has picked up in the last little while. The music is starting to pump, and the atmosphere is certainly building. What I will say is what really sticks out is the optimism amongst fans right now. Normally, when there's a Game 7 elimination game, you'd expect a lot of nerves, anxiousness, fans waiting for the other shoe to drop. Not so much the case here. Fans are all optimistic, they're smiling, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have been the comeback kids all season long, and particular in this series. They expect the team to win, and everyone here in attendance today are hoping to witness some October magic. Bursting with excitement, it's Sawyer's 5th birthday, and the only present he's wishing for are Blue Jays tickets.
That's kind of pulling at the heartstrings, getting them to a game, and be very memorable for sure.
And they aren't the only family tracking prices.
So they're about 700 around there.
After flying in from Ottawa for a wedding, Eric extended his trip in Toronto to witness the Jays' first Game 7 since 1985.
We came in last night. We asked them if we could extend the stay. They said yes, so now we're looking to find tickets and pay an arm and a leg, but whatever. It's the cost of doing business.
The city of Toronto hasn't experienced World Series baseball in 32 years. More recently, in 2019, the Toronto Raptors brought the city a championship. And this Blue Jays postseason run has created a similar palpable atmosphere.
The vibe is heavy. I remember when we won the NBA championship, and now the Blue Jays is at this point. It's so exciting. The buzz in the city is heavy, so we can't wait to see them win tonight and go to the main final and win it all.
They're going to win. They got to win. Kirk. I love Kirk.
I expect that today the roof is going to be like blown off with the noise.
The American League Championship Series didn't start the way the Jays had hoped. They lost the first 2 games at home, but the offensive bat of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and lights-out pitching by 22-year-old Trey Savage has brought them to this deciding moment. It's also fueling a friendly rivalry with the Seattle Mariners, a team that has never made it to the World Series.
I was here in Toronto 2 years ago for the wildcard series, had a great experience here then, so I wanted to come here. It's a fun banter with the Jays fan base and with the whole country of Canada, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Even the dogs are on their feet.
Go Jays!
Hoping the Jays can pull off another trick and punch their ticket to the World Series. Now, there is one logistical issue we do have to talk about. If you are coming to the game tonight and have your ticket via Ticketmaster, double check, because a lot of fans have been trouble accessing them because of a wide Amazon Web Services outage. Now, the Blue Jays say that they are slowly rectifying that issue, but they have actually put extra personnel in front of the gates. And so if you have any trouble, they will be there to help you. Reporting live, I'm Radhim Ladhani. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Radhim, and a very good point. Let's talk about the forecast. A quick note, back in '85, they played at Exhibition Stadium, and weather was always a concern, but not now. The roof is closed, and that might work to the team's advantage. What I mean by that is you'll hear even more noise from those fans, and that'll get the players pumped. As for the conditions, Lindsay Morrison, let's talk about that for the fans that are arriving, and also when they're leaving this game, what will they be dealing with?
Well, pretty different weather conditions, Nathan, compared to yesterday when we had all that rain and all that wind. But it's pretty cool inside where you are, but it's a party out here. I'm here with the Blue Jays drum line, and of course the Skywalker is having some fun doing the ball count. And it's slowly out here. We're going to find a very nice day here in the
Thank you, Lindsay, and it's so great to hear from the fans. If you can hear me, I'm not too sure, but that was incredible. Michelle, let's go back inside.
Yeah, those drums were fierce, but appreciate it. Great work. We'll check back with you at Rogers Center. It is certainly It's fairly vibing tonight. Appreciate it. But we do have to get on to some other news right now. And today did mark the first sitting of the Ontario legislature since June. And MPPs had the controversial Skills Development Fund under the microscope. Opposition parties were demanding answers from Ontario's Labour Minister during question period. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris reports.
An unrelenting barrage of questions for the Labour Minister at the centre of a scandal. It's over the Skills Development Fund, a $2.5 billion pot for training workers. The Auditor General's described the process of deciding who gets it as not fair, transparent, or accountable.
And what was the common denominator? Lobbyists. Lobbyists with connections to this government, to this premier, and to this minister.
David Piccini's been involved in picking recipients with ties to progressive Conservatives who scored low in the criteria for funding.
Openly admitted to a conflict of interest to the premier. Will he ask the Minister of Labour to step aside?
A push all opposition parties are behind.
I think it's indefensible. I mean, he's essentially created a slush fund for PC donors at a time when we have 800,000 people out of work.
The minister defiant and defensive about the program's ability to change lives.
We're never going to apologize for making those investments in those workers.
The minister says there hasn't been quid pro quo in distribution of funds to unions who backed him or his party. And he has no intentions of removing himself from choosing who gets funding.
We work with our officials in that discussion. We have to make sure we have construction workers on job sites. Otherwise, we will delay.
The Premier's office says the Premier continues to have confidence in his Labour Minister. The government has introduced legislation aimed at making Ontario's economy more competitive.
An actual The bulk of the bill focuses on over 300 permits.
How we can get those permits either eliminated or approved faster without jeopardizing the integrity of the environment or public safety.
Including approving drinking water sources faster as communities grow. The minister on that file insists lessons have been learned from the Walkerton water disaster. The E. coli contamination killed 7 people and sickened more than 2,000. Todd McCarthy says it's about balance.
Protecting water, clean drinking water for all, making sure, though, that we focus on not having unnecessary repetition when it comes to the testing process or the monitoring process.
The bill also allows some medical staff from other provinces to practice in Ontario sooner and makes good on a promise to shut down speed cameras. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And speaking of those speed cameras, the latest move in the Ford government's drive to ban them, tabling a bill with the return of the legislature, will map out the road ahead as parents speak out. In Durham Region, police have arrested the son of a man killed outside an Oshawa mosque last week. 80-year-old Ibrahim Bala was found with what police describe as signs of trauma in the area of McGregor and Simcoe Streets around 4:20 p.m. Thursday. He was rushed to hospital where he died from his injuries. Investigators say Bala was killed moments after leaving the nearby Islamic center of Oshawa. Today, officers arrested and charged Bala's son, 42-year-old Sohaib Bala, with second-degree murder. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. And a third youth has been arrested in the fatal shooting of 8-year-old Javeh Roy. Roy was laying in bed next to his mother at their apartment on Martha Eaton Way on August 16th when he was struck and killed by a stray bullet. Police identified 3 teens as suspects. 2 were previously arrested, and yesterday the third suspect was located in Oshawa in connection with a separate investigation. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and breach of probation. He can't be named as he was a minor at the time of the shooting. A man has been charged with murder in connection with a deadly assault in East Gwillimbury last week. Officers were called to a home on Queensville Side Road east of Yonge just before 11:30 p.m. Friday. They found a 57-year-old man with serious injuries, and he was later pronounced dead in hospital. He's since been identified as Curl Burry of Bowmanville. 30-year-old Jintel Burry Burgess has been charged with second-degree murder, breach of probation, and assault. Police say investigators are not seeking any additional suspects. And police are investigating a shooting in North York this morning. Evidence of gunfire was found on Millwick Drive near Islington and Steeles. Police were called to the area for reports of a shooting just after 6:30 a.m. One person was shot and made their own way to hospital. Police say their injuries are not life-threatening. Investigators have not released any information about possible suspects at this point. The trial of a Mississauga man accused of selling deadly substances online to people who later used them to commit suicide has been pushed back. Kenneth Law will now go on trial in April rather than January as the Crown and defense await a Supreme Court decision in a separate case which could impact his trial. Law is charged with 14 counts each of first-degree murder and aiding suicide. Police allege Law ran several websites that sold sodium nitrite and other items which can be used for self-harm, shipping them to people in more than 40 countries. A man is fighting for his life following a shooting in Brampton late last night. Peel police now working to determine who pulled the trigger. CTV's John Musselman has the latest on that investigation.
Peel Regional Police forensic officers searched the front yard today for any evidence in connection with last night's shooting. Neighbors report more than half a dozen shots rang out around 10:30 p.m. at this home on Clifton Court. That's near Sandalwood Parkway and here, Ontario.
It initially sounded like firecrackers, but you know, as soon as you stop to think about it, it was so flat. It's what it's what gunfire is supposed to sound like.
When police arrived on the scene, they found a 37-year-old man suffering from gunshot wounds. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition. He has since been listed in stable condition. No one else in the home was injured. The motive for the shooting remains under investigation. There are several high-end vehicles parked in the garage and on the driveway of the home. There are also several security cameras, including a large camera installed on the front yard. In a statement, Peel Regional Police say, quote, "At this point, it is unknown whether the incident was targeted. However, investigators believe this to be an isolated occurrence, and there is no known threat to public safety." This longtime neighbor says the gun violence is unsettling.
It's really scary because I moved in this house in 1986. Since then, was a so quiet area, so was a so nice area.
There is no word on any possible suspects. Peel Regional Police is asking anyone with information or security camera video to contact them. John Musselman, CTV News in Brampton.
And still ahead on CTV News, the cascading impact of an outage at the world's largest provider of cloud computing services. Thousands of companies hit by connection issues today, causing widespread disruptions. Well, at Queen's Park, the Ford government pressed the gas pedal today on its plan to ban speed cameras, tabling a bill that would see them turned off. But the plan is still facing stiff opposition from municipalities. CTV's Allison Hurst reports.
The sign promising an automated speed camera is one unlikely to be kept. The province has tabled a bill banning them from municipalities.
We've made a decision as the government to move forward on this legislation to remove them.
The legislation is in its first bill since returning to the legislature. The release says it includes initiatives to protect taxpayers by ending the use of municipal speed cameras.
Our focus has always been on preventing speeding at the point of entry into one of these zones.
Municipalities using the technology have been largely against the government's plan, citing the vast majority of these cameras are in school zones. That's something many parents want to see continue.
Around the school, definitely needed. But there are other, different areas, maybe yes, maybe no, but the school, definitely.
I don't think we don't need to around here because no one's driving faster than the 30 kilometers per hour. So because they know that the school is here.
I think so, but I think because I don't get caught by them, so I'm like, yeah, it's probably good for safety.
The province wants cities instead to focus on traffic calming measures like speed bumps, roundabouts, and enhanced signage. At several schools across the province this morning, parents held demonstrations to save speed cameras.
The data shows us that they do work and that we are seeing a reduction in speeding in this area and across our city and across our province. So why would we take away a proven method of keeping our kids safe?
Once the bill passes, the cameras must be off, with new warning signs in their place by November 15th and permanent flashing light signage by next September. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Meantime, Toronto police have announced they're launching a 3-month enforcement campaign aimed at reducing congestion. Police say parking enforcement and traffic services officers will be increasing enforcement of the Highway Traffic Act and bylaw offenses in the downtown core. Police will be targeting congestion-causing violations, including no stopping, no parking, and blocking the box offenses. Officers will also be cracking down on prohibited turns, speeding, distracted driving, and traffic signal violations. The increased enforcement will take place from Bloor to Front and Bathurst to Jarvis from 3 to 7 p.m. on weekdays. If you've been a victim of online fraud, you will be interested in our next story. November's federal budget will include plans for a new financial crimes unit to investigate money laundering and fraud. CTV's senior political correspondent Mike Lecoutel reports.
According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, financial scams cost people in this country $643 million last year. It's why, after 5 years of promising to tackle the problem, the Liberals are finally acting.
Budget 2025 will introduce Canada's first ever national anti-fraud strategy.
The strategy is also coming with a new agency that will target money laundering and online fraud. Canada plans to collaborate with other countries to target those transnational crimes.
We're talking to the FBI, we're going to talk to the financial crime unit in the UK, but my aim is to go after organized crime, is to go after those who scam and defraud Canadians.
There's no doubt that it's really late in the game.
Cybersecurity experts point out the Liberal government promised a financial crimes agency 5 years ago, and they say this multilateral collaboration with other countries is key to catching these types of criminals.
There's a culture of cooperation that needs to be built within our regulatory institutions, within our law enforcement, and within the financial system.
That's partly why the government will amend the Bank Act to require express consent from account holders before enabling services like e-transfers. They'll also require banks to have policies and procedures to detect consumer-focused fraud. The Canadian Bankers Association is on board and applauds the move to have a central financial crimes agency.
There's a lot of skills that involved, the white collar, the movement of money, the complexities. And so having people that can be focused on that would be critical.
This is one of the many pre-budget announcements the government is making leading up to November 4th. And today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called on the Prime Minister to keep the deficit under $42 billion, something Mark Carney has already signaled will not happen. Mike Lecoutel, CTV News, Ottawa.
From Ottawa to downtown Toronto, we take you back to Rogers Centre as we await the crucial do-or-die Game 7 tonight. And look at that, Nathan Downer has a guest.
That's right. Thanks, Michelle. One of the best players to play the game, Eduardo Perez, who also, by the way, works for ESPN. He does radio. He does it all. And he's been following baseball for decades, dare I say it? A Game 7, first off, you played the game. What's it like for the players?
You know what? It's not nerve-wracking for them, because if you would ask any player in spring training, if it's Game 7, one game to go to the World Series, are you in? Every player would say yes. Are you kidding me? Right now, there's just three teams alive. Obviously, the LA Dodgers, and it's going to be between Seattle and Toronto. And I think it's a really cool aspect. I feel for those guys that are hurt, for the Bo Bichettes, for the Anthony Santanders, for those guys that aren't able to participate. But this is what you play for, and this is as fun as they make it out to be. And as soon as the game starts, I'm telling you, all the jitters will go away.
A good point. When you're playing at home, how much of an impact could that have?
Right away. Right away it has an impact. I think the players will be motivated by that 10th man, and the 10th man plays here. But that not necessarily means that they are the favorites going in. If you look at the statistics in the last 9 times that there has been a winner-take-all, it's been the road team that has won. So I think it's important for the road team to get ahead early. And Seattle Mariners, they know they faced Beaver in Seattle. They were able to get to him early on with a Rodriguez home run. But then after that, Shane just shut him down. They're expecting that, but today it's going to be different. It's going to be a short leash. The bullpen's going to be used. The starting pitchers that are usually in the dugout, they'll be in the bullpen. I think it's going to be really interesting what we'll see here tonight.
Yeah, both managers said it's all hands on deck. I'm just wondering, in terms of the Blue Jays, what do you think makes this team special? Most did not expect them to get this far.
Their leader is the best player out there, right? You got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He has shown up. He has picked it up, and it's like, okay, how do you not let Vladdy beat me? I think that's what the Seattle Mariners are thinking. But as a Toronto Blue Jay, once your leader is doing well, it takes the pressure off everyone else. It takes the pressure of you trying to do more because your leader is not doing well. Look, their Michael Jordan is being Michael Jordan. And all you need to do is have the accent, the rest of the players to just do what they're supposed to do, not try to do better than what they can do.
We've also got the Pippins and the Rodmans. Who are some of the role players that you think might come up big tonight for the Jays?
Look, they're a contact team. You look at Ernie Clement, what he's been able to do. I think there are two guys that need to have great games, and those two guys are hitting in the 1 and 2 spot, right? George Springer, even though he's hurt, he needs to be able to get on. I think once you create that continuous effect, it makes it harder for them to attack Vladdy and let Vladdy do his thing. And then after that, if not, Alejandro Kirk has to at least put the ball in play, hit the ball to the other way. He is so much better when he hits the ball the other way. It opens up the pull side for him, and we saw what he could do. The clinching game here in Toronto, when he went deep not once but twice with a grand slam. Look, they're going to need special acts today in order to be able to get into the World Series and start game 1 here.
Jays win, yes or no?
I don't know. I'm calling the game, and I haven't called it. I'm not going to call it, and CTV is not going to get me to call it, so we'll see what happens.
You're such a professional, Eduardo. A pleasure talking to you. Good luck tonight. It's nice talking to the guys that know what they're talking about when it comes to baseball. All right, Michelle, back to you.
What a treat. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Appreciate it. And we'll have more from Rogers Center. Also coming up, the creeping cost of Halloween treats. Why finding a sweet deal on candy this year might be more of a trick than a treat. Lindsay.
Well, fans are making their way downtown here for the game. The vibe is electric out here. But, you know, the Jays game isn't the only big thing happening tonight. Happy Diwali to all who are celebrating. Here's your evening at a glance. I must say conditions look much improved from before, and it'll be good for fireworks because winds are starting to ease as well compared to earlier this afternoon. A quick look at your overnight temperatures. Once again, a little warmer than normal. 8 degrees is our forecast low. Lots more to come here on CTV News, live from Game 7 of the ALCS. A full look at your forecast is after this.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Now to the internet outage that has affected millions of users worldwide and disrupted some of the biggest apps and websites, including Snapchat and Reddit. It was all because of a problem with Amazon's cloud computing service, AWS. CTV's John Vanavali-Rao reports.
For users of some web services, this was the message they got this morning. Unable to connect to popular sites like language learning platform Duolingo and social media giant Snapchat. An outage that the site Down Detector says affected more than 2,000 companies.
I had a bunch of interviews lined up this morning using Zoom, and I couldn't use Zoom while this outage was in the midst, so I had to flip to a plan B.
Some Delta and United Airlines passengers in the U.S. reported problems accessing their online reservations, while in the U.K. there were bank customers who couldn't log into their accounts. The issues all stemming from a problem with Amazon Web Services.
At AWS,
which is the world's largest provider of cloud computing services, which many businesses and governments rely on.
Because these individual companies are so large and have such a big share of the market, it does have this cascading impact where one system goes down, then another, and then suddenly half the internet is gone.
The outage was first reported at around 3 this morning Eastern Time. A few hours later, Amazon said it had narrowed down the source of the problem, though connection issues persisted. An outage that also affected Amazon's own service, along with Disney, McDonald's, and others. Since 2020, there's been several large internet disruptions. Experts say part of the problem is a growing dependence on a small number of global cloud services and shows how fragile the backbone of the internet can be.
This is a clear sign that having a cloud infrastructure that is so monopolistic is problematic.
Meanwhile, experts say this appears to have been the result of a fault at a data center and nothing to suggest it was a cyber attack. John Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
In Ottawa, the Royal Canadian Legion presented the ceremonial first poppy to the Governor-General today.
To all the veterans, to all members of Canada and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, to all serving members of Canada's military forces, we thank you. It is with reverence and gratitude that I accept the first poppy.
The tradition represents the ceremonial start to the remembrance period and announces the coming National Poppy Campaign. It begins annually on the last Friday in October, and poppies will be available to the public beginning October 31st this year. The Legion says funds donated locally during the campaign are distributed locally to help support veterans and their families and to promote remembrance. But well before Remembrance Day, it's game day. The Blue Jays did it. They battled back, forcing tonight's Game 7. And for the occasion, there's our Lindsay Morrison. She's been down at the Dome today, taking in the sights and sounds. Lindsay, I think we're digging up all kinds of blue outfits from our closet we didn't know we had.
That is for sure, Michelle. And you know what? We're chatting with so many excited fans here tonight. I have a couple of them here. This is Tim, Keaton, and Brody. Tim, you brought your boys to Game 7. Does it get much better than this?
No, it really doesn't.
Are you excited for the game?
Beyond excited, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And Brody, I understand you're a baseball guy. So can you tell me what's going to happen in this game tonight?
You know, I think Bieber's going to go out there and do his thing for sure. Quality started from him last time. I think it's going to be the same thing from him, and I think the bats have just been rolling, and I think it's just going to continue to be that way throughout this.
Who's going to knock one out of the park tonight?
Vladdy, of course.
Of course. We can only hope that the bats are going to be hot, and I understand we've got a lot to pick from when it comes to the bullpen tonight, right? So fingers crossed. Have a great time tonight. Thanks for stopping by to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
And I will say the weather has cooperated for any fans who have made their way down here so far. And if you're watching from home, you're about to leave to come on down, the weather looks good for you too. Let's take a look at our current satellite and radar. You know, we had a little bit of rain earlier today, and it's looking good now. All is clear, but there is, maybe you can see it, there is a secondary low waiting in the wings, and this one is going to bring us more unsettled weather as we head through the day tomorrow and into the day on Wednesday. So even though it's clear for tonight, it's not clear for good. We're likely to need the umbrella for the next couple of days here. Forecast radar. So there's tomorrow late morning, likely back into some showers, maybe some gusty winds, bit of a break, and then another round overnight into Wednesday. Wednesday itself looks to be a mostly cloudy and unsettled day yet again. And something else that's worth mentioning is that temperatures are going to start to cool a little bit as the week goes on. Today, we were above seasonal, 16 degrees for the high. Right now it is 14 degrees. It's still pretty comfortable out here, I will say. Although, as you know, a lot of these Blue Jay jerseys have short sleeves, so we're seeing lots of t-shirts out here tonight. Overnight, eventually we will fall to a low of about 8 degrees, which again is warmer than normal. Seasonal average is about 5. There's your high for tomorrow, 14 degrees, so pretty much where we are right now. Little cooler than it was today, but not a bad looking day. Yes, some cloud cover, and yes, a few rounds of light showers at the very least. So simply plan on it being an unsettled day. Like I said, maybe bring the umbrella with you as you head out the door. Maybe keep it in your car for the rest of the week, just in case. 7-day forecast looks like this. Unsettled until about Friday. And then the weekend looks decent. We're back into a mix of sun and cloud, but look at the forecast daytime highs for Saturday and Sunday. We have had some very hot October weekends. This one looks to be a little closer to where we expect the temperatures to be at this time of year. We are live downtown Toronto ahead of the Blue Jays Game 7 ALCS. We'll throw it to break now. We'll be back here on CTV News. Stay with us.
Halloween is a little less than 2 weeks away, and many people are stocking up on candy. However, those purchasing sweet treats may be in for a fright when they look at the prices this year. CTV's Beth McDonnell reports.
Filling trick-or-treaters' buckets on Halloween is becoming more expensive, and families handing out candy are noticing.
I think this year is a little bit high.
than the other years. When I see the prices like more than usual, you know what I mean? $10, $15.
According to a report by the Agri-Food Analytics Lab, the average household will spend between $35 and $45 on Halloween candy this year, up from between $26 and $35 last year.
Prices are higher. That's one thing. The other reason is that Halloween is actually on a Friday this year, so we are expecting more trick-or-treaters around.
On top of the price hike, Lab Director Sylvain Charlebois says the size of sweets are getting smaller, thanks in part to higher cocoa prices, which in turn also adds to the cost because of the guilt factor.
Everyone wants to make kids happy, and so, of course, when candies are small, you want to give as much as possible, and so people are absolutely more generous in that regard.
Smart shoppers will advise to do the math and check different retailers to find the best prices for the most number of pieces. Being choosy about what type of treat to hand out can also lead to savings.
But chocolate is the benchmark, and if people don't have the money to spend on chocolate, they'll opt for chips, hard candy, also cheesies. Those types of products are becoming are quite popular.
But some won't let the cost of candy get in the way.
I was a kid once, so it was a lot of fun, and I really want the kids to have a good time. The price is the price. Not much you can do about it.
It's happy. It's a good time. It's community. It's a good feeling.
Willing to spend more this year to make sure it's a happy Halloween. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The Paddle Project art auction was held today with funds raised supporting Campfire Circle. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan on how the fundraiser is making waves.
Actor Seth Rogen, singer Sarah McLachlan, even the late Gordon Lightfoot. Just some of the celebrities who have created paddles for the Paddle Project.
Campfire Circle brings healing through happiness to kids with cancer or serious illness and their families.
The charity runs hospital-based programs as well as 2 overnight camps.
We have an amazing team of nurses and doctors from all across the province who come and participate and make sure that kids can get their IV chemotherapy, get their blood transfusions, also get the normal bumps and bruises that we all get taken care of, but that they get to be a kid again.
Helena Lima was diagnosed with leukemia when she was just 5.
Truthfully, I don't remember much. All I remember is camp, really. Like, they replaced all the bad memories with, like, really great ones.
So it was an incredible relief for us, and to have her have a little bit of fun. It gave us a bit of a break.
Maria Lima, an artist herself, created one of the paddles this year with a beautiful woman warrior on it.
I was inspired by 2 things, my brave daughter and my love of Lord of the Rings. I combined the 2 together.
Ballet star Guillaume Cote is another of this year's creators.
The Campfire Circle's Paddle Project is a really amazing initiative. I am truly honored to be part of it.
But he's got a little friendly rivalry with comedian Jerry D.
Mine's the best of all of them, but that's okay. You can look at the others and then you cannot bid on mine.
For every $2,500 contribution, a kid with cancer or serious illness gets to go to camp. And so there's great power behind every dollar that is donated through these paddles.
Bidding on the paddles wraps up 1 p.m. on November 7th. Go to paddleproject.ca for more information. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
And more news coming your way, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we head back to Rogers Center as the clock ticks towards the first pitch of the biggest game of the Jays season. Look how gorgeous it looks downtown right now. Stay with us.
We've heard a lot from our own fans, our own commentators, the Toronto perspective, but it's also nice to hear a different perspective, Seattle's perspective. We're going to bring in Curtis Crabtree from Fox 13 Seattle. Curtis, of course, we got to be balanced as journalists. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, if Seattle were to win this game, what would it mean to the city? You've never been to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, I've only covered, before this postseason started, I only covered 1 playoff baseball game because it's just something that didn't happen for Mariners. They just weren't involved in that party throughout their year for most of their franchise's history. And so it's a very different scenario for them to be in a Game 7 of an LCS. This is uncharted territory. They'd never won 3 games in an ALCS before this year. So all all of this is brand new for fans for sure, and getting to a World Series for the first time for the baseball fans in Seattle would obviously mean something that I don't even know that a lot of them are capable of processing just yet. Like, I know I have friends back home that, you know, for different reasons, whatever they may be, have been really emotional about this run that the Mariners have been on. And if they can get to the World Series, erase that moniker of being the only franchise in Major League Baseball to never have reached that level, it would be a pretty monumental moment for the Mariners and their fans.
Now, the other side of it, if Seattle were to lose, would people say, you know what, we got this far and we are happy? Or is it more of a, what else can we do? We didn't meet expectations.
Yeah, I think they would be happy that they got this far once it has a chance to digest, because, look, this Toronto team is very good. Their offense is really tough to try to work through. The Mariners have hung their hat on their starting rotation for a long, long time, and they've lost that matchup in this series, which I don't know that you necessarily would have expected going into it. But there's still going to be that visceral emotion of not being so close and not getting there, to getting to that area you've never been to before. It would be a successful season overall, I think, but still, like, you still have that carrot out there that you've never been involved in that party at any point in your franchise's history. It would still feel like there's something lacking there. But on top of that, they still do have one of the top farm systems in baseball. They've got guys under contract for a while. It should still be a team that has the chance to do it in a few of these years, but chances can go away really quick and circumstances can change, and you may not ultimately get another opportunity that's as good as this one. It's still going to feel like you've missed out on something if you aren't able to get across the finish line here tonight.
I like the casual look, Curtis. No tie for you guys. That's pretty cool. Thanks so much. Good luck tonight. And, of course, good luck to the Blue Jays as well. We know what fans here are hoping for, a Blue Jay win. We're going to find out soon. Michelle, back to you.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. Thank you both. Both sides want it bad. Now, outside the ballpark, he's been keeping the beat since the late 80s. A stadium staple, hitting all the right notes with fans, but turns out his special season will be his last. We catch up with Rocket Rick after this short break. You may not recognize Rick Donaldson, but if you've been to a Jays game in the past 3 decades, you've likely heard him. Donaldson has been drumming outside the dome, hyping up fans as they arrive, and now he's decided after this season it's time to retire. Our Jess Smith caught up with him tonight.
It's a sound synonymous with the Blue Jays' home games. Legendary drumming busker Rick Donaldson, better known to most as Rockin' Rick, dates back to 1989, but it almost ended before it began.
The first time we came, we got kicked off the property, and it was kind of funny. And but the second time, fortunately for us, the right person saw us and saw what it was about.
And the rest is history. Busking outside of the dome for the past 36 seasons, he has been an integral part of the hype on game day.
I know I've performed for over 1 million people, for sure. You know, and I just want to thank the fans, my family, and the fans. And the fans, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Keeping the beat back in 1992 and 1993, he knows what it's like to celebrate a Blue Jays World Series win.
I've been here before, but when I walked in the building last night and heard the crowd, I knew right then and there. I'm like, whoa.
But this run to the big show hits a little different. Rockin' Rick says he's retiring after this season.
The Blue Jays organization, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and it's time.
Always playing to the beat of his own drum, some of his favorite moments have been with the fans, rocking out with Rockin' Rick.
I love Rockin' Rick. Every time we come, he always brings up the vibe. And it's like whenever you win, it's like you got a little bit of his vibe.
My favorite part is my interaction with the fans. You know, it's more fans pumping them up, you know, getting them ready to cheer hard inside.
As for what's next, Rockin' Rick says he has no plans of slowing down and will continue touring as a musician right across Canada. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Oh, wouldn't that be something to retire with a World Series win? But the Jays have to win Game 7 first tonight, Nathan.
That's right. And speaking of fans, I know the fans here are hyped. Let's make some noise, guys. Pretty good. Nice, nice. Now, one of the biggest fans is standing right next to me. She was there back in 1977 when the Jays played their first game, and here we are years later. Pam, how does it feel?
It's awesome. I can't believe we got this far this year. It's amazing.
I know, nobody really expected it. What are you expecting tonight? Who do you think is going to be the hero?
I think it's going to be Vladdy.
Can you believe what he's done?
I cannot, but now I'm a believer.
He's just been fantastic. And what gets me about this team is the other guys, the Ernie Clements and the Nathan Lucases and the Miles Straws. What do you think about the other guys that have come through?
They have all stepped up. They want this bad, and I think they're going to take it home tonight.
Yeah, what do you think, guys? We're going to take it home tonight?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go, Blue Jays.
All right, let's get one last look at the forecast. I hope you're right. Lindsay, back to you.
Nathan, I've got some amazing fans with some great stories out here. Raj, you flew all the way here from LA this morning?
Flew from LA to surprise my cousin, and we're going to the game. And happy Diwali, everybody! Go Jays!
Yes, and I've got John here. Tell me about this hat.
Happy Diwali. I wore this mask in '93 when the Jays won the World Series. I'm bringing this back for good luck. It's 35 years old. It was a Foster's Light.
Is this good luck or what? Nathan and Michelle, let's go Blue Jays. Let's go Blue Jays. I'll send it back to you.
Let's go. Hats off to you. Oh, yep. Everybody wants it all. That's it for us, but you can watch Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morris and Nathan, the whole team down at Rogers Center, and all of us at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night, and go Jays!